Good evening, friends. In today's video, we will be learning about the step-by-step how to file the GST refund application in case of exports of goods or services without payment of the tax, input tax in IGST. Here we will learn the practical aspect for filing the GST refund applications. First, we have to log into the GST portal, gst.gov.in. Then we have to go to the services. Then we have to go to the refund. And then we have to go to the export of goods or services without payment of tax, accumulated input tax credit. The first and foremost step for filing the GST refund application is basically the utilities. That is the statement number 3 that we have to furnish on the GST portals. That is the utility in the Excel utility, and here we have to furnish the detail of the FIRC copy shipping bills. Where we need to furnish the FIRC copy. Copy is basically required for the export of services. Whatever payments we have received in case of export of services during the relevant tax period need to be captured here. Whatever in case of exports of good, we have to capture whatever goods we have exported outside the India during the relevant tax period need to be captured here. Like first, we will understand what is an FIRC copy. FIRC copy is basically issued by the banker realization certificate and foreign inward remittance certificate. Whenever we are receiving any export remittance outside the India that are provided by the bank, for that we need to furnish a detail here. Let us suppose if we have received any payment outside India, and we are filing a refund application from April 24 to March 25. Whatever payment we have received in respect of completed services, either it's pertaining to the previous or either it's pertaining to the current year, we have to be captured here. Whatever payment we have received in the relevant tax period need to be captured here. It might pertain to the previous or it might pertain to the current year, doesn't matter. In case of export of services, we have to be captured each and every payments that we have received from outside India. In case of exports of the good, we have to capture all the invoices, all the goods that we have exported outside the India. We have to provide their shipping bill details here. And post providing the FIRC copy detail and shipping bill detail, we have to map the invoices here. Whatever invoices these pertains to the shipping bill and these pertaining to the FIRC copy need to be mentioned here. But while providing the invoice detail, we should be ensured that all the invoice date, invoice value, invoice number should be matching with the GST portal. If they are not matching with the GST portal, our utility will throw the error because whatever we are furnishing the statement 3, they are validated by the GST portal or the custom portal as well. So we should be very careful by providing the detail in the statement 3 and the shipping bill details, right? This is the most important things that you need to be kept while furnishing the statement number 3. Next step is this, we have to furnish the statement 3. Statement 3 is basically talk about how to calculate the GST amount of GST refund. Amount of GST refund is the lower of three. First is as per the refund. That as per the formula derived by the Rule 89 Sub Rule 4 the CGST Rule 2018. Refund amount is the input tax credit into turnover the generated supply divided by adjusted total turnover. Net input tax credit. First is the net input tax credit. Net input tax credit is basically pertain to the input or the input services, and turnover the zero rated supply is, what do you mean by the turnover? The net input tax credit basically covered the input tax credit pertaining to the input or input services, doesn't include the tax credit pertaining to the capital good because we are not eligible to take the input tax credit of the capital good for GST refund application. We are not eligible to claim the GST refund of the ineligible ITC. We are not eligible to claim the GST refund of the block input tax credit. What do you mean by the turnover the zero rated supply? Zero rated supply is basically covered two things: zero rated supply of the services, zero rated supply of the goods. In case of zero rated supply of the services, we have to be considered whatever payment we have received outside India from relevant during the relevant tax period. Like if you are filing a refund application from April to March 2025, we have to be capture all the payment received during that tax period from April 24 to March 25. Services talk about the whatever we have realized, and goods whatever we have exported outside the India. It's work on goods exported outside India, but service portion work on whatever we have received in respect of that need to be captured. If we have provided any kind of services but payment has not been received, that should not be considered for calculating the GST refund application. That is the most important point that we need to be captured here. This is a pivotal thing that we need to be captured here. What do you mean by the adjusted total turnover? Adjusted total turnover is basically the addition of the turnover of the zero rated supply of goods or services and turnover of the non-zero rated goods or services. Non-zero rated goods or services basically what we have domestically sold. Next, considering that next, GST refund should be lower the following. First, we as per the formula that we have discussed as per Rule 89 of the CGST Rule 2017. Second one is the balance lying in the credit ledger at the time of filing the refund application. If you do not have any balance in the credit ledger at the time of filing the refund application, then definitely you are not eligible to take the input tax. You are not eligible to take the refund. But means you already utilized the input tax credit, but then you are not. Why? Then you are not eligible to take the refund of that amount. Sec- Third one is that balance appearing in the credit ledger at the end of the tax period for which refund is claimed. Let us suppose if we are filing the refund application from April 24 to March 25, we will see what balance is lying in the credit ledger at the end of the March 25. That should be kept in mind. Lower of three. One is as per formula. Second one is balance in the credit ledger at the time of filing the refund application. Balance in the credit. Third one is balance in the credit ledger at the end of the tax period for which refund application is to be filed. That is the basic formula that we use for calculating the refund. Here, there are certain declaration undertaking to be provided while furnishing the refund application. Like declaration, we have to be provided that goods that we are exporting outside India are not kind of subject to export of duty. Here, we have not availed any kind of drawback of central tax paid on goods or services. Both we have no, whatever refund we are claiming through this application, we have never claimed the refund of that input tax credit earlier one, that we have to give the declaration to the department and we have to furnish a undertaking to the department. If later on department find out that refund has been obtained fraudulently, refund taxpayer was not eligible for the refund, but still he has obtained the refund through some false documentation and through some other kind of things, and then department may ask to refund back this amount to the department. At any point of time, that kind of undertaking is required to be provided by the taxpayer. Taxpayer has to provide the undertaking that he will pay back to the government of the refund sanction along with the interest if subsequently it has been found that the requirement of section subsection input tax credit export services, but there are certain conditions that are not been fulfilled. While filing the refund application, there are certain set of documents that need to be furnished. Like first, a self-certified copy of the LUT copy. LUT copy is basically a letter of undertaking that is must. If we are exporting any goods, exporting any services outside the India, it is must to have the letter of undertaking, because without having letter of undertaking, we cannot export goods or services outside India. Second one is that we should have the shipping bill copy. In case of export of goods, we should provide the shipping bill. In case of export of services, we should provide the FIRC copy, foreign inward remittance certificates, that is provided by the bank only. Fourth one is we have to provide the detail of input tax credit. Input tax credit for which we are eligible for the GST refund. Like we should not provide for capital good, we should not provide for block credit, we should not provide for the ineligible input tax credit that we are not eligible to take. We have to provide a detail of all the input tax credit for which we are eligible for the GST refund. We have to provide the electronic credit ledger. We have to provide the note on the nature of export or services provided by the company. Undertaking declaration we already discussed. We have to provide GST or 2B so that department may reconcile your input tax and with the GST or 2B and any other supporting document that required by the GST officer. Let's understand, while when we are filing the refund application, the document that required by the department is very less document, very not material documents. But when we go for hearing with the department for GST refund, for processing of GST refund application, officer generally ask agreement, invoice copy of all purchase invoices. He want to substantiate whether it pertain to capital good, whether it pertain to input or it pertain to input services. Officer ask these kind of information. Before furnishing the application for GST refund, everybody should be ready with all kind of documentation that officer may ask at any point of time later on. Not although these are not required to be funded at the time of filing a refund application, but later on we may need to provide it to the departmental also. And one more thing, the department is time limit to process the refund application is 16 days. Department has to process the department has to process this refund application within 16 days from the date of filing the refund applications. And generally, as per the circular, there is some circular details circular on the GST refund. This specifies that officer has to pass a speaking order within 45 days from the date of receiving the application, and 15 days should be provided to the Treasury Department of the government to process the refund amount, to credit the refund amount to the taxpayer. If the refund is not credited to the taxpayer account, but that taxpayer was eligible, then the government has to pay the interest at the rate of 6% on that refund amount. That is the basic. This is the basic here. The department is not harassing the taxpayer, and that things are also in the favor of the taxpayer also. So we can say everybody has to be taken care lot of things while furnishing the refund application. Everybody has to be prepared themselves from the back end also. The document that they have required to be furnished at the time of multiple hearings for the refunds. It was a basic. Although the application filing the refund application is very simple, but documentation passes much and must imperative. Everybody should taken care of that at the time of filing the refund, the time of hearing as well. And one most important thing, the physical verification is must. If we are filing the GST refund application, officer 100% do the physical verification. That everybody should be ready with the physical verifications. We should have the proper board, proper name board. We should have the proper office. We should have the proper employees there. That everybody that also we need to be kept in the mind before furnishing the refund applications. Hence, we can say although filing the refund application is simpler process, but from the back end we have to be ready for from each and every perspective. This is all about the refund applications. If still you have any query, you can write to us at any point of time. And thank you so much.